Okay, ladies, welcome. My apologies for being a few minutes late. Facebook has switched up the Facebook Live formatting, so it took me a bit to even figure out how to get in here to join you all. So I am so excited. I have been eagerly awaiting my opportunity to share everything I've prepared for today's masterclass and mini workshop. Radical self-care for radical times. Radical times is no doubt where we find ourselves. And I am so touched and so flattered and so inspired by all of the interest and the enthusiasm. And I know some of you will be joining me now, and some of you will be tuning into the replay. And either way, it's just such a pleasure and such an honor to have this opportunity to come together and to share with you what really, you know, concepts and practices that are so close to my heart. Because, and really what inspired me to create this, it was very spontaneous and very organic. I've been um, limited in terms of my movement and my exercise in getting outdoors every morning, which has been beautiful, to take long hikes. And it was in these hikes that it just sort of naturally downloaded, and I got more and more inspiration. And then my challenge is always whittling it down to fit everything I want to share into a very brief hour. So we'll see how I manage to do that today. But really, what inspired kind of this whole the direction we're going to go today is that we all have been offered such a precious opportunities in these times that I believe is too precious to be wasted. An opportunity to really go deeper within ourselves than we ever have before, and to take radical responsibility for all the ways we have been giving our power away to external conditions. Really looking more closely at to whom and to what we have been making our source of whatever it may be that we've been seeking. Abundance, love, peace, security, predictability, certainty, stability. And to ask ourselves honestly, where do I not feel that I'm truly free? And to explore, how am I going to truly be with myself instead of avoid it in all the ways I ordinarily might? And why I felt so compelled to create this masterclass is because more than ever, this is always the case, but more than ever, the way I see it, there's a risk that whether it's in this time of isolation and quarantine, or it's any other period of our lives, any other, 3-month period, 1 year period, the next 5 years, the next year, this entire lifetime, the risk is that you will continue to merely live in reaction to life, going through the motions, feeling half alive, making your now a means to an end, and letting time slip through your fingers, waiting to live the life that has been burning in your heart for a very long time. And that's when we reach the end of the day, or the end of the month, or the end of the year, and wonder, where did all that life go? What did I actually do with all of that precious time? And I want more for you. I want more for myself. I want more for all of us. Because as long as you wait for life to get steady or feel more convenient or provide more certainty and security in order for you to feel stable, to feel supported, to feel less afraid, and to feel like it's a more convenient time to say yes to myself, to my desires, to the life and the vision of my dreams. You will be waiting for an eternity and beyond, which is why learning to become steady in the midst of this turbulent sea that we call life is no longer optional. And why, in the face of circumstances that threaten to contract us into mere survival, to shrink down our dreams and our desires, to numb us out with stress and restrict our capacity for pleasure and joy, and kind of seduce us into buying into limitations and fear. This is why feeding our aliveness and our expansion is an essential nutrition that we cannot live without. This is what we need to be practicing for and cultivating more than ever right now. And what, as destructive and dire as things may appear in times like these, I choose to believe and have faith that life does know what it's doing, that there's a deeper underlying wisdom and a divine perfection occurring beyond what we will ever be able to see with our eyes and cognize with our minds. As I see it, it's this dance, this play between the human destruction and the divine perfection. And when we can trust that life is only ever conspiring for us in our favor, and that it knows better than we ever will, then we're able to rest in that deeper faith that every breakdown does lead to a breakthrough, that every destruction is the source of a rebirth, and that what you may feel as though you're losing in this time, all that might be falling away, was always meant to fall away in order to make space for you to receive 1,000-fold in return, in a different, even more aligned and more abundant form. If you choose that perception, that lens, because we all get to tell ourselves the story we want about this time. You get to choose the thoughts that serve you in feeling the way you want to feel and keep showing up for the life you desire. Because you are the one who's always shaping your reality anyways, all of the time, world pandemic or not. And you have the opportunity to really use this time to change the entire trajectory of your life and come out on the other side of this better than when you started. And that is what this masterclass is about. And that's why I was inspired to create it. So let me just kind of lay the ground. I was so excited to hop on and join you all that I kind of skipped over. Just a little bit of a roadmap. We're going to be talking about, starting with in kind of the radical self-care part. This is all radical self-care. This is all mastering your inner domain. But where we're going to go first is inhabiting the parasympathetic state, harnessing the medicine of pleasure, one of my favorite topics to talk about. And then I'm going to go more deeply into actually becoming the CEO of your inner domain and becoming bigger than your circumstances. And then at the end, I have a special offer. I'm in the process of making a really juicy, brand new meditation series, super juicy, really um, powerful meditations for, especially for this time, but timeless wisdom in them. And I'll share with you how you can get that. And then I have a special practice that I'm really looking forward to take us all through as we close and complete our time today. So that's where we're going. And again, it's such an honor to have you here. I am on a yoga ball, so you might see me occasionally just kind of wiggle and shimmy around as I adjust. So what do I mean by inhabiting the parasympathetic state? So I had such a hard time, as I mentioned. Self-care is my jam. And I had a long list of things I would love to share with you, but it was really what I've chosen are the ones that have the most juice for me right now, that I was just most excited to talk about, and that I believe will have the biggest impact, both right now in the immediate times, and anytime you choose to employ them, they will serve you greatly. So I want to start with talking about harnessing the medicine of pleasure, because pleasure is our natural state. The only thing that blocks it is stress and tension in the physical, the mental, and emotional bodies, any or all of the above. And right now we are all at risk of carrying around higher and higher amounts of stress and tension than usual. And the fact is, people are living in this sympathetic state most of the time, even before this happened. Just a brief, nervous system 101, the sympathetic state is fight or flight, stress, survival, danger. The parasympathetic state is rest, digest, restore, replenish, rejuvenate. So, excuse me. I had a feeling that was happening. Allergies, I'm totally healthy. So when we are in the sympathetic state, which is where all of us in today's day and age, when we're bombarded with technology and, speed and rushing is the name of the game, the sympathetic state is where we are living most of our waking lives. Because our nervous systems were not, haven't quite evolved. We're not designed for the level of stimulation and the speed that we are surrounded with. So when we're in this state, we are pumping cortisol, stress hormones throughout our bodies. We're burning out our adrenals. We're not digesting our foods. Immune system is compromised. Your body is basically preparing to run because you are bracing for danger in any moment. You're in the primal brain. Everything's constricted, physically, all the way down to the blood vessels, all the way to, psychologically and emotionally. It shuts down creativity. You're unavailable for what you want. You are cut off from source and synchronicities. Whereas the moment you tap into your parasympathetic nervous system, you begin to relax, you expand, you're more open, your heart rate goes down, your blood pressure goes down. On a biochemical level, you start producing hormones that are really good for your immune system, that reverse aging, promote youthfulness, and make you so much more magnetic and radiant and available for possibility and potential. And the most direct way to get into the parasympathetic state is through the gateway of pleasure. Because pleasure is what helps you come back into your body. and it regulates your nervous system. It soothes anxiety. It's probably, I mean, I don't know if there are statistics, but I would say it is the best source of overall holistic nourishment. And it really gives your system the message that it is safe, because you cannot be in stress and pleasure at the same time. You cannot be in fear and safety at the same time. So that is really the option we have in any moment, is to take back control of our own pleasure by choosing it. When you create a pleasurable experience for yourself, you literally change your biochemistry. It's a total channel changer, gear changer. You release a cocktail of feel-good hormones and neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, beta endorphin, which allow you to feel and tap into your sensual aliveness, to feel confident and unstoppable, and to feel love and connection and be available for intimacy and sensuality, like I said, and really to thrive on every level. It, as I said, it boosts your immune system, it reverses aging. And the beauty is that no matter what is happening outside of us, we can choose pleasure and learn to practice it, even in the midst of the most difficult times. And we can also recreate our world by simply leaning into more moments of pleasure, of delight, of relishing what is here and now in the very moments that we're already living. So, as I see it, the greatest superpower you have right now in these times is allowing yourself to feel as good as possible and to really enjoy that privilege and that superpower and leverage it. When you are in stress, worry, fight or flight, you will see everything through the lens of danger, of lack, of not enough. Versus when you choose pleasure and create a pleasurable experience for yourself, even in the smallest, simplest of ways, you will start to interpret everything through the lens of possibility, of potential, of abundance, of desire, of what will bring me more life, and how can I bring more life online. So you'll be available to run more pleasure, more aliveness, more joy through your body, through your life. So I want to invite us into a mini practice. This isn't quite the full practice that we'll do at the end, which is also going to be mini as well. But I want to give you some practical ways to employ this that I'm talking about. Essentially, like, how do we intentionally get into more pleasure and deliberately practice it in real time? Pleasure is really just the activation of any or all of your five senses in any single moment. So it starts by really asking yourself, how am I going to infuse more pleasure into my day or into this experience that I'm about to enter? How can I bring more pleasure into whatever I'm doing, even when, and especially when, it feels like that's the last thing I have access to? So let's practice, right? It starts with noticing. Just start by noticing any experience that gives you pleasure in the moment. So right now, as you are listening to me, I want you to notice in your environment, in your body, like if you just kind of shift gears and actually lean back and down into yourself, take on the posture of receptivity in your nervous system. And notice even a sensation of pleasantness. Now, when I talk about pleasure, it's not reserved to just sexual turn on and arousal. It can be a feeling of peace. It can be a feeling of softness. It can be a feeling of calm. It can be a sensation of joy, a tickle of aliveness. It can just be ease. And start to notice, so this is now, and just to give you the full context, this could be also a moment of just feeling the warmth of the teacup on your hand, the warmth of the sun on your face, the hearing the laughter of your child in the other room. Right now, you located a sensation, a portal of pleasure. Notice now what you're experiencing in all five senses as much as you can. You entered that portal of pleasure. Anchor it in even more by just noticing, what are you hearing? What are you touching? What's the flavor in your mouth? If your eyes are closed or open, what are you seeing? If it's the blackness behind the eyes or just an object of beauty in the space around you. And the idea is you want to open to receive your senses through the whole body, as if your whole body was listening, was tasting, was touching, was seeing, was smelling. And modern neuroscience tells us that we need to hold that awareness hold that awareness for at least 30 seconds for the brain and the nervous system to register it. And that's what starts to really feed and prime the parasympathetic nervous system. Now you can even in this moment before we pop out, or any moment when you're going to practice this, is ask, how can I actually, it's first noticing what pleasure am I willing to notice that's already here? And then how can I enhance and expand that pleasure that's already here? That might be as simple as adjusting your breath, adjusting your body, getting closer to the sensations of pleasure. Notice where you can open to receive it more. Just simple things like that. And you want to think less about doing this practice and more about surrendering to it and receiving it. Because we have to be relaxed and expanded and surrendered enough to let the pleasure actually land deeper and deeper within us. And just to add to this, every thought you think creates a biochemical reaction in your body, for better or for worse. So you can get even more proactive around this pleasure expansion in real time as you're going through your day by just pondering, pausing and pondering what feels good right now. What is going well? What do I love about my life just as it is? And what is amazing about this moment that I'm living, or this time that I'm living in? That also starts to pave those pleasure pathways in the brain, in the mind, that has the same nourishing benefits. So, yeah, a pleasure, think of that as your pleasure mindfulness practice. If you want to get creative, set alarms, but the idea is have kind of be intentional about practicing that as often as possible because it has a compound effect. The more you practice it, it builds on itself. Okay, so that's the fun and juicy part. Now let's get a little more, I don't know if I would say serious, but I want to talk more about how, like, that is already a big part of being the CEO of your inner domain. But now I want to talk more about mindset and mindset mastery. Because the one power and freedom we all have is to choose our state of mind in any moment and any circumstance. It's something we have to proactively manage all of the time. And so, as I see it, one of the best uses of the extra time that all of us may have right now and the slowness is to start being more intentional than ever about doing your mindset work and pave the way for that to become kind of a new default for you. Because the fact is, we don't get what we want, we get what we focus on. So, you want to watch for those thoughts that don't serve you. Watch for those default stories that are running behind the show that are going to take you for a ride unless you choose otherwise. And really start to get clear, what are the thoughts and beliefs I want to be having right now? What is the story I want to be telling myself about this period of time? And can I choose a different, more supportive line of thinking or line of believing and feed those to my mind as often as possible throughout the day? Because you get to decide the thoughts that you have and practice them. Practice them like, what's that phrase? Practice them like your hair is on fire and you're running for water to dunk it into. Because, like I said, you are the one shaping your reality from the inside out. It is not happening to you. And so, mastering your inner domain, being the CEO of your inner domain, means checking in, or requires that we check in frequently to, what am I thinking? Where has my focus been for the last hour? And is this the result? Is what I'm thinking serving the result I want in the future? Because now is always a preview of later. Is this serving me in creating the experience I want more of? Knowing this thought I'm thinking is what is creating my next moment. Is that what I want to feed? Is that the seed I want to water? Because it will grow. If not, the alternative is to ask, what would the highest possible version of myself think and believe instead in this moment? What else could be true? What else could be possible? So those were the ones I really wanted to, the two kind of self-care practices I really wanted to elaborate on. But I also have some small, like, I could do hours and hours on this stuff because I love it. But I do want to mention a few others that to me are just invaluable, like markers to have in your day, in your time, especially now. And that is number one, to set your intention daily and nightly. Keep it really simple. Whether maybe that's something you've already been doing, maybe it's something you did in the past. Now it's time to reinvest yourself in that. It's a beautiful, accessible, simple way to really get yourself back onto the throne of your queendom at the start of your day. How do I want to feel today? How do I want to experience myself and my life? How do I want to show up for this day of my life? And what is that, what is it, what is that highest possible version of myself? Like, who would she be today? And that is your intention. Whatever kind of inspires you. You can just have that drop in time when you first wake up or when you're having your morning coffee. And you might mark it down as just sort of your GPS, a compass to come back to, so that you are the director of the scene play, not what's coming at you from the external. The nightly intention I absolutely love because it's more, I feel as though the morning intention is more very like assertive and intentional and deliberate and powerful. The evening, the nightly intention is beautiful to do before you're, as you're winding down or even as you're putting your head on the pillow. And there's a quality of letting go, of releasing, of surrendering. It could look like, whatever feels unresolved in your heart right now, you just lay it on the altar of the divine, of source, of God, whatever your belief system is. You just lay it on the altar. Thy will, not my will. That's an example of a perfect nightly intention. It could be, show me, asking for more clarity on something. Show me what I need to know to get to where I belong. And you'll just take that time and you'll feel into it. What do I need? What can I turn over to this higher power, my highest self? And ask a question and to be shown. And then just trust it will be delivered to you in some non-linear, irrational, unexpected way, maybe that the following day or in the coming days. So setting your intention morning and night. As you're going through the day, it's checking in, sort of like the pleasure practice. You can do this at the same time and just come back home to yourself. What am I feeling? And given what I'm feeling right now, what do I need most? What would be most nourishing? And honor that in whatever small way you have access to. Act on that. Follow through on that. Another one is do not give up on your dreams and desires. This is the time to turn up the volume on them, ladies. So spend even more time dreaming, visioning, and really feeling into your desires. Because life will go on, I promise. And now is the best time ever to be paving the pathways in your body, in your mind, in your heart, to be even more available for that which you are desiring to create and live into on the other side of this. And when we are out of our normal linear kind of structure and routine, the windows of possibility, the doorways to the infinite realm of potential are open wider than ever. So, and that realm lives in the spaces between the spaces, in the spaces between the moments, in the space that is behind and beyond the content that we see before us. It is just as real, if not more so. So tend to that and feel as though that portal is so much more open now, and you are more available to it because of the disruptions that your life is going through right now. So maximize on that, lean on that. It's there for you. Lastly, last kind of mini self-care, although I might say this could be the most significant one, so I don't want to dismiss it by saying mini, but spend. I remember one of my, now I was going to say, spend at least as much, if not more time, on the internal and the eternal than on the external and the ephemeral. Now, that may not, got a hair somewhere going here, that may not be realistic with the daily responsibilities that we have in this day and age. But the intention can be there for you in the background to really build an even stronger relationship with the eternal aspect of you. If you don't have much of a relationship with that yet, or have been out of touch with that lately, ask it to reveal more of itself to you, which simply requires slowing down enough to drop in. And again, land into those spaces between the moments where it can find you, where it can make itself known, where you can touch and feel into that vast, infinite, eternal aspect of you who lives beyond the conditions and circumstances of this birth and is so much vaster than the events of the now and of this lifetime. And if you're doing any or all of these practices, it should really impact how you're doing the rest of your life, the rest of the time. That is really the test of success, as I see it. So, let's go on. So those are some, I really love sharing those with you because there are some gems in there that will have a massive ripple effect. So I really hope there's some new, flavor or facet of self-care that I've pointed you towards that might just turn you on and light you up and inspire you in a new way right now. And now I want to talk about kind of, that's more, that's kind of just more of the feminine self-care practice. And now I want to talk about on a more like high level perspective is how we become bigger than our circumstances. We are in certain times, no doubt. And the truth is, everything always has been and always will be uncertain. It's just that we let ourselves get away with taking for granted the precariousness and the transience of life until we are confronted with a very loud reminder glaring in our face when life as we knew it comes to a halt. It's easy to relax and coast along, and as I said at the beginning, kind of let life slip through our fingers and go through the motions feeling half alive when everything is going well and unfolding to our preference and to our liking. It's easy to feel some semblance of control and normalcy when conditions around us are more ideal and predictable. But when things are going that well and it's just life and business as usual, it's also really easy to fall asleep at the wheel. It's easy to let certain feelings go underground, to default to spending so much time on things that actually turn us off, shut down our aliveness, and drown out our soul. Because we're so busy, moving so fast, filling our schedules to the brim, that it's impossible for us to hear that still small voice of our soul within, until something does stop us in our tracks like this, if we let it. And that's a key difference that I'm going to get to in a moment. It's in times of crisis and challenges that the fires of transformation are the most potent, and our deepest capacity to thrive and come out on the other side even better can emerge. And we have the opportunity that we wouldn't have otherwise if things did stay comfortable and normal and status quo. And so as I see it, we really have two options. We can double down. You can double down on all the ways that you habitually tune out, buffer yourself from life, lose yourself in all the distractions that you could normally reach for, and really double down on them. You can continue to go through the motions feeling half alive, convinced that you're too busy to think about much more than surviving, and don't have time to dream and desire and grow yourself into more of the woman you know you're here to become. Or you can treat this time as the sacred opportunity that it is, to wake up from the illusion that there is better than here, and to become, as Rumi says, the soul of wherever you are. How do we do this? Well, the theme of the day and this time period is, it requires slowing down enough to really drop in and to listen to what is wanting to emerge from within you that you have been too busy, too distracted, too much in a hurry, running away from yourself in a mad rush to get to some other place you believe is going to be better than here. That you've been too busy to notice that still small voice, that your soul has been getting drowned out. And how can you become, so it's asking what is wanting to emerge from within you that you have not been giving any airtime to? And how can you become more of a devotee to that, to her? As I've said, you are the only one shaping your reality. It's never your surroundings. And creating the life you really want will never be created in reaction to life, trying to get away from where you are in an attempt to avoid what is. It would be easy to do that right now, I know. But the depth of fulfillment and satisfaction and love and abundance and peace, whatever those like juicy words are for you that mean so much to you, that you seek, will never be found outside of you in the acquisitions and the accomplishments whenever you reach the goals and fulfill the desire. That which you seek, the yumminess, the deliciousness, the juice of life that you seek will only ever be found in more of you coming online. And in the experiences you give yourself along the way as you pursue your desires and your goals and your dreams, and allow yourself to become that version of you who is inhabiting that reality. So a year from now, how do you want to look back on this time and know that you nailed it, that you crushed it, that you flourished despite conditions and threats to your well-being and your desires and your dreams and your expansion? So some ways to kind of, thinking about, you get to tell yourself whatever story you want about this time and seize it for the opportunity that it is by asking, how could I be thrilled that this is happening? Like, what is this pandemic, this season of life that is occurring right now? What is it teaching you? What is the medicine that it is offering up to you? How can I make this obstacle, so-called seeming obstacle and disruption and certainly inconvenience, unexpected inconvenience, how could I make this, turn this into the greatest thing that's ever happened to me? You can decide that this is the time that you finally get deep down in your bones that you are 100% free to be and create whatever you choose. And that's where I'm going to go next. So many of the women who come to me and that I work with have been waiting to live. There's sort of this epidemic, this trance that so many women fall into, of waiting to live, of feeling trapped inside of themselves and their lives in a quiet desperation that they can't see a way out of. And yet their deepest longing is to be completely used up, to use every ounce of what they've been given before they take their last breath. And I think we all share those symptoms to some degree. Sometimes it will be more extreme. It'll sort of fluctuate on that extreme of mild, that spectrum of extreme to mild. But yeah, when it comes down to it, that is the feeling, the ultimate, like the epitome of arrival and satisfaction and fulfillment, to be completely used up and use every ounce of what we've been given before we take our last breath. But it's quite possible that right now, given what's occurring outside and around you, that you have a long list of reasons why this is a bad time to choose yourself, to say yes to your desires, to be all in on your dreams and the highest vision you have for your life, and that like really delicious expansion and emergence and flowering into even more of the woman that you are longing to become. To invest in yourself and the kind of up-leveling that would really turn you on and light you up and inspire you and feed you. And the truth is, that same list of reasons and excuses is the very thing that's been stopping you all along. Whatever you were believing was getting in the way of you having the results you want and creating the life you desire before this pandemic did not just start with this. It was there before too. Whatever you've been seeking in your life is being disrupted this week or this month for the exact same reasons it was 3 months ago or 3 years ago. And those same reasons will continue to stop you for as long as you let them, no matter how calm, how normal, how seemingly predictable the world around you returns to. It's just that now our brains have a really convenient excuse for not showing up to it and being all in. But it's showing you why you didn't have the results and the transformation you wanted, even in normal times. And this is great news, I guarantee, because it means you get to work on them and set yourself free from them. So where are you saying, I can't do XYZ right now because of this condition? Whatever that may be in your unique life right now. Where are you saying, I'm going to say no to my yes right now? I'm going to wait for some future time when that condition is in place. I'm going to wait for some future condition when I have enough of XYZ or have XYZ. So it's basically, where are you waiting to live and giving your power away to conditions? And what's really important, as long as that is your line, that is your way of living, your way of showing up, that condition can never come to you, because life doesn't happen to you. Life happens through you. It has to come from you. Life can only reflect back to you the very frequency you are emanating. And so as long as you're giving your power away to outside of yourself to determine or not what you get, you will spend your life on the hamster wheel, on that treadmill of striving but never arriving. No matter how hard you try, you'll keep ending up in the same place, just a different version of in a different scenario. Because you're letting your external conditions dictate your destiny. So that condition you're waiting for, whatever that may be, whether it's the certainty, the confidence, the abundance, the love, the safety, the security, the support, the calm, the predictability, the guarantee of some kind, it will never come to you, because it will only come through you. And that's why I find myself often saying, when you want more out of life, the truth inside of that feeling is that you really want more of yourself. That is the deeper yearning. And the best time to source and discover within yourself the very thing you've been seeking is when the world around you is not giving it to you. Because then it is yours forever. And the only way you ever get to the state to what you seek, that state of fulfillment, that state of satisfaction, of happiness, of success, of joy, of abundance, the love. The only way is to start there. The only way to get to wholeness is to start from wholeness. For example, anything you are pursuing from lack, from fear, from brokenness, from unhappiness and dissatisfaction, from not enoughness, will only produce another version of that flavor. So you have to start at the end. So the contemplation I want to invite you into is, what would your life look like if you had already arrived? If you were no longer striving towards something, without the conditions that you've put in place that you believe have to occur before you give yourself permission to be, to feel, and to live the way you desire. Who would you be then? What's the version of you who is inhabiting that reality? And then be on the lookout for what excuses and reasons you use for not doing that. There's a quote I want to share with you by Erma Bombeck that relates to what I was saying earlier. When I stand, she says, when I stand before God at the end of my life, I would hope I would not have a bit of talent left within me and would be able to say, I used everything you gave me. What I want you to consider, ladies, is that this incarnation, this lifetime, is not about chasing to get all sorts of things in order to be enough, in which your dreams of fulfillment are always just around the corner. It's about using up everything, every ounce of what you've been given, and becoming all of the woman you know in your bones you're here to become. And so if you're going to chase anything, chase what makes you feel most alive. Chase that experience of being now who you would be then upon arrival. Chase that which is within you that is burning in your heart to come online, aching to emerge, and embody more of her. You know, I encounter so many women who want the transformation in their lives, and yet they're not willing to do the real work of transforming themselves, which is where all the magic lives, and which is the very source of the transformation they are seeking outside of themselves. And the fact is, well, that's where the magic is. And the things you come up against, that you're coming up against now, that you were coming up against before, will always happen. There will always be a reason for it to be a bad time to pursue your desires, to say yes to yourself, to choose the life you want. And so the transformation is in the decision to figure out how to prioritize creating the results you want, regardless of what is happening in your life. Because you can be that woman who is determined to not allow what is going on in the world to stand in the way between you and having the life that is burning in your heart. And it starts with a decision to become her now as quickly as possible. And this is exactly what I teach my clients to do. Because when you learn how to choose her, no matter what is going on in your life, it will be yours forever. That is your superpower. So If you don't want to find yourself a few months from now, a year from now, wondering, where did all that life go? What did I do with that precious time? If you're ready to set yourself free, even just 1% more each day, then I am inviting all of you who are tuning into this training to book a free consult with me, where we will look at what that missing link is for you, where you've been stopping yourself, and how you can literally become the magic that you are. Become the soul of where you are. Because the obstacle is the way. And that's exactly what I will help you uncover together. As I said, the best time to source and discover within yourself the very thing you've been seeking is when the world around you isn't giving it to you, is not making it easy and convenient, because then it is there forever. And so the opportunity is here for you on the table to make a different choice than you've ever made before. And as I mentioned, I'm creating a whole new series of meditations. And one of them is going to be really, well, yeah, how do I describe? My meditations are not just the dry, mundane, ordinary, boring stuff. I really try to infuse a lot of sensuality, a lot of juiciness, a lot of succulence, and a lot of the divine feminine inside of them. And I have this whole series of meditations that I'm creating. And as a bonus to all of you who book a consult and decide to follow through and see if it's a fit to work together, you will receive this series of meditations totally free. One of them is called Drenched in Bliss. Another one is about harnessing the power of your sacral chakra and surrender to manifest your desires the feminine way. Another one is awakening the inner lover. Another one is meeting the goddess within. And I'll probably create a couple more as well to add to that. If this is something you want to act on, all you have to do is schedule a consult by the end of the day, Tuesday. And you can do that. I'll pop the link in, but it's my name, SalonaCarlisle.com/discover. SalonaCarlisle.com/discover. All you have to do to take advantage of this offer and this bonus is to book your consult by Tuesday. It doesn't have to take place between now and Tuesday. Just reach out. Just get in touch with me. And I would be delighted to connect with you, really. And it's like I've said, these calls are transformational in and of themselves. There is no obligation. It is simply an opportunity for us to connect and explore if it's a fit and do some massive transformation already. You will leave this call different than you came. And if we decide to work together and you decide to move forward, you will get some amazing bonuses. So now I want to lead us through our practice, a very, very special practice close to my heart. I will keep it brief. Wow, we've gone over an hour. So if it's okay to do this, if you're on the go and your eyes need to stay open, totally fine. If you're in a spot, you can kind of just step into the frequency of it as well as you can and then come back. The replay will be up through Tuesday. Like the time of the bonus and the time of the replay will sync up for end of the day Tuesday. So if you want to capture the meditation, come back and later. But for now, for those of you who are tuning in, I invite you, if you can, to close your eyes. Lean back and down into your body. Come back home inside yourself. Find your breath. Settle into your bones, into your flesh, pulling your attention inwards. So just really feel the space of your body. Inhabit that space more fully. And then begin to reflect on the space outside the body. And in your surroundings, while you may have your own perceptions and associations of your environment, for this practice, I'm going to invite you into the mindset, the lens of the yoga wisdom and philosophy and tradition, which suggests that outside of us, throughout the universe, within and all around us, and actually the very substratum that underlies all of existence, consists of energies that are inherently benevolent, inherently peaceful, all-powerful, luminous, and infused with infinite love and bliss. So as you breathe in, you're going to feel the pores of your skin, the nerve endings on your nerves, the flesh of your body receive that energy of healing, benevolence, and bliss all the way in to the very central channel of your spine. And on the exhale, feel them radiate, expand, and permeate all parts of your body, all the way out to the edge, and then beyond your body. And continue with that. Essentially, what you're doing, I refer to this as awakening the blissful spine. So when you happen to inhale, this is not forced, you're receiving, magnetizing that luminous, loving, peaceful, vibrant energy all the way into the central channel of your spine. And on the exhale, you're lighting up, irradiating your entire, all the layers of the body, all the layers of the mind, and out beyond you. And just feel that this luminosity, this vibrancy, this ocean of bliss is more powerful, more real than the world of confusion, of stress and distraction that you may have experienced before joining me today. It deserves just as much, if not more, of your attention. Just sit here for another moment, basking in this glow. according to the Tantra, the tradition of Tantra, everything about your life, the parts that feel beautiful, the parts that feel maybe far less than pleasant, are part of the goddess, of Shakti, part of the way she is trying to reveal to us that everything we experience is part of her play. Whatever is seen through our eyes, whatever is felt through our bodies, our five senses, whatever we experience now or in the future, is an expression of the divine, enacting her play as this entire universe. So our entire experience in any moment, whether it feels expansive or contracted, is an expression of the goddess and is made of her infinite freedom and love, and is actually designed to awaken and open you to the realization that you are her and she is you. So may that give you a great deal of solace and refuge and sanctuary any moment you need in these times and for the rest of your life until you take your last breath. And I want to thank you, all of you just beautiful ladies, for joining me. I didn't really keep up with the comments because I wanted to stay on track. But I'm here for you. Get in touch with me if anything here feels like something you want to take deeper. I will pop the link in the comments to book a free consult with me. And other than that, I just wish you all a very, very sacred, profound, and deeply nourishing rest of your weekend. Sending you so much love.